Newsy News, it's the show we crave, bringing wit to the world's big wave, with snarky lines and hearts so bold, every story brightly told. In a world full of dull old facts, Newsy News fills in the gaps, chasing stories no one knows, with laughter as the story grows. Newsy News every night, making wrongs turn out right, with a giggle and a grin, let the fun times begin. Scandals broken with a wink, politics served with a drink, breaking headlines you might miss, wrapped in an ironic twist. Faithful fun at all the while.
Hello, everyone. It is the 25th of June. Yeah, it is June. I was thinking, don't say January. I actually did the right thing, but uh, it is the 25th. We are here. Thank you, Wolfram, for doing the mod stuff. King Bob, you were first, so you win the internet. I will be packaging that separately, though, so don't open the boxes that say dark web. Good evening, Tammy Bogart and Flux and Flash Fan. I am doing okay. Uh, Wicked Wookie, that's my F octopus in a dumpster fire. Well, Jeffrey, I put that on X, but I didn't put it on community. I thought today was Wednesday. So, yes, I did say that, but I was wrong because I thought today was Wednesday. The first story is not so great or so happy a story, but this young lady, this, sweet child who was taken from the earth uh, too early, she fought like a warrior and she deserves to be acknowledged for the absolute Valkyrie way that she left this world because she didn't go without a fight. And you know what? What a brave, brave girl. Jocelyn Nungary, 12, fought back with her last breaths, leaving bite and scratch marks on the illegal immigrants, prosecutors said. So this is the little girl who fought with every daggone thing she had. And my God, that makes her a hero in my book. So she gets, the honor of this acknowledgement at least. Little Jocelyn fought back against her attackers after she was lured under a Houston bridge and just tortured, leaving scratch and bite marks on one of the migrants who was accused of killing her, prosecutors revealed Tuesday. Joan Jose Martinez Rangel, 21, still had the marks that Jocelyn had left him with when he was arrested, Assistant District Attorney Megan Long said in a Harris County court. Martinez Rangel's alleged accomplice, Franklin Jose Pena Ramos, 26, told the cops he tried to convince Martinez Rangel to stop, but allegedly refused and climbed. So he basically helped unalive her. And all I have to say to that is, this is not the right one. Daggone it. Yeah, definitely working on a Snake Island music intro and Lord Chippy and all the other things. But absolutely, this girl is a brave hero, and because of her ability to fight back, these men were caught with evidence on them that is going to send them away for the rest of their lives. And I'm okay if they just, happen to fall off a bus somewhere or get Gen Pop justice allegedly in Minecraft. However, the chilling details came as Harris County District Judge Josh Hill set a $10 million bail for Martinez Rangel and labeled him a likely flight risk. He said the decision for such a high bail amount was because he didn't want Pena or Martinez Rangel to flee, but also didn't want them to get deported and escape justice in the US. Well, because Snake Island is actually a real place, I believe in Brazil, where it is just covered in like the world's most deadly snakes. I don't think technically anyone is allowed to actually live there, but I'm okay if we buy it from Brazil and send all of our prisoners. Oh, Jude Curio, I would do that, but they get really copyright claimy if you use actual music, so I have been, making my own with the AI music stuff. I've seen individuals go into ICE custody, go through deportation or the removal process where they have been ordered to be removed, and then the feds have deported or removed those individuals with the Harris County criminal charges still pending, the judge said. And it puts us in a position where those charges could never be answered. Prosecutors said Martinez Rangel, who appeared in court wearing a yellow jumpsuit surrounded by several bailiffs, shaved his beard in an attempt to alter his appearance after the horrific attack. After the killing, Pena allegedly sent a message to their boss at the construction crew saying the two had been partying that night and someone had ended up dead, prosecutor said. What a dingus. What an absolute dill hole. If you're going to be an absolute garbage bag, trash bag human predator, I mean, not that I want you to be good at it, but gosh, could you just not be a daggone moron insult to intelligent design? I mean, freaking ridiculous. Jocelyn's family, including her mother Alexis, were in court for the appearance. One family member was later escorted out of the courtroom after yelling at Martina Rangel through tears. Kind of okay with that. In fact, we could just hand these two over to, I don't know, the family. Look, if they happen to be in a room outfitted with saw-like devices, I can't help you. I mean, if a little puppet happens to come out and say, "Do you want to play a game?" I'm kind of okay. Following a So we already kind of know everything else. Long said Martinez Rangel, a boy or a father of two whose family is not in Texas, admitted to tying the little girl up and throwing her body in the bayou, but claimed he did not unalive her. No, it's called felony murder, and you're still going to the Hooskow, and I hope we maybe look at some capital punishment. Uh, The judge sent the bond at $10 million Monday, double what the prosecutor requested, and 10 times the sum sought by the defense. Martinez Rangel and Pena on June 16th allegedly lured Jocelyn to the bridge, where they did all sorts of absolute terrible things to them. And I hope everyone in general population knows exactly what these two absolutely human dumpster fire, trash bag, gross human, dirty water. I hope they get athlete's foot in their throat and acne on their butt. I mean, Jocelyn's feet were also bound and her back was covered in cuts. Pena was given an ankle monitor when he was released into the U.S. after being caught at the border in May, according to Homeland Security sources. He cut the monitor off after Jocelyn's body was found, sources said. Well, Mr. Mayorkas, you're doing a fine job, you frickin' jack off. Ugh. Which authorities removed in May after determining he had no known criminal history. Pena crossed into El Paso on May 29th, the Post first reported last week, telling agents he was going to live with his cousin in Houston. Uh, just absolutely stupid. Our immigration system is broken, and if there was ever a case that reflected that, it's this one, DA Kim Ogg said during a press conference following Pena's Monday hearing. Both Martinez Rangel and Pena were seen on surveillance video entering a 7-Eleven with Jocelyn the night she was taken from this world. Jocelyn's family said the 12-year-old snuck out of her home at night and she was unalived and met up with the suspects walking out. Jocelyn's mother, Alex Nungary, said Monday that the killers took her daughter and all the opportunities she had away from her. Um, I know that everyone has kiddos in their lives or maybe nieces, nephews, and I know it's so hard to get this as a 12-year-old because everyone that's usually been around you has generally been a good person. And you don't want to scare kids as an adult with all of the monsters out in the world. But goodness, this is a terror that gets through every parent's worst nightmare. I mean, we can protect them from a lot of things, but we can't protect them from the monsters who wear human faces. Ugh. But this little girl was an absolute badass hero and she, managed to leave signs, leave clues, leave evidence that will put these men in jail for I hope ever or, in a pine box, if you know what I'm saying, allegedly in Minecraft. And good evening, Audio Coffee and Christine and Squat Bob and Cynthia Firefire or Fired 42. I got your Lord Chippy things, and will be adding those to the video when I get the sounder figured out for the Lord Chippy. So thank you so much. Those are so awesome. I can't wait to get that all together tomorrow. In sad news, because this was one of my favorite jams when I was a senior in high school, although him being nearly 50 is just odd. Shifty Shell Shock, Crazy Town frontman and butterfly singer, dead at 49. Shifty Shell Shock, the frontman for the rap rock band Crazy Town, has died. He was 49. Per the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner's website, Shell Shock, whose real name was Seth Binzer, died on Monday. The singer, who had battled addiction for years, passed away at his residence in Los Angeles. The cause of death has yet to be determined. Fans reacted to Shell Shock's death in the comment sections of his pinned Instagram post from April 28th. I'm absolutely devastated. Seth, my man, rest in peace, my brother. Another comment read, rest in power, Shifty. Addiction is effed up. I was really hoping sobriety was going to turn things around for you, another person said. A fourth comment read, rest in peace. I hope you finally found some peace. Crazy Town was formed in 1995 by Shell Shock and fellow rapper Brett Epic Mazer. Other members included DJ Rick One, Mark White, Adam Bavin, Charles Lopez, and more. The group blew up with their 2000 single, Butterfly. The song peaked at #1 on the U.S. Billboard Hot 100 for 2 non-consecutive weeks. After their second album flopped, Crazy Town broke up in 2003, but got together 4 years later and released their third album, The Brimstone Sluggers, in 2015. The band was renamed Crazy Town X by Shell Shock in 2017. Shell Shock was open about his struggles with addiction through his life. He was on Celebrity Rehab twice and also went on to appear on its follow-up show, Sober House, 2 times. In 2012, he was reportedly arrested for battery and nose sugar, if you will. Per Variety, the same year, he was admitted to the hospital after losing consciousness and fell into a coma before recovering. The rapper was arrested for a DUI in Los Angeles in 2022. He was charged with another DUI in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina in April 2023, according to TMZ. Welcome, Tara Downey. The outlet reported the latter incident. Shell Shock drove drunk after he allegedly got into a fist fight with a bandmate. He was pulled over. Shell Shock was reportedly lethargic, slurring his words, and bombed his field sobriety test. You don't say. Shell Shock talked about his addiction and how it affected his career on Punk Rock MBA podcast in March 2023. I think I was too wild to stick around a long time, he said. I managed to live through a lot of crazy S and got to the point where I was like, I'd like to live. That's a whole new way of life. You have to slowly teach yourself, Shell Shock added. To do it correctly, you have to do more than just want it. Every day now is just about finding inner peace and taking care of yourself. Shell Shock is survived by his three children, Halo, Gage, and Phoenix. Now, on a personal note, knowing someone who's struggled with addiction and lost that fight, it can be absolute hell to watch someone slowly lose parts of themselves, um, by choice, by addiction, slowly, day by day, until they resemble kind of a costume of the person you used to know. But there's always that hope, and that hope can be so very painful. That hope is so hard that they will change. And one of the saddest lessons I had to learn was you can want change for someone else, you can help, you can take them to meetings, you can take them to classes, you can be a support, but unless they want to and are ready to change and to do those hard things, it, it's not going to work. So, you know, I it's a big problem. I wish there were an easy answer because I know so many people that have lost someone to this. And as someone left behind, it is absolutely heartbreaking to watch family, friends, and just have that hole in your family when you see, new things, when you are looking into the future and know that they're never going to be there. So I hope that his kiddos have, really good moms or mom in their life and people to just surround them because it is really, really hard. In other awesome and nerdy news, I'm super stoked. I might actually, get a telescope, but a once in a lifetime nova will appear in Earth's sky, and here's how to spot it. Professional and amateur astronomers alike will be able to see it without the help of a telescope. A rare nova explosion will soon be visible in Earth's nighttime sky, according to officials at NASA. The event, which could occur anytime between now and September, is creating a buzz within the astronomy community, as both professional and amateur astronomers alike will be able to see the explosion. Quote, we're definitely noticing a lot of excitement as skywatchers anticipate the predicted nova. Claire Androli, an astrophysics communication manager at NASA's Space Flight Center, told Yahoo News. It's rare we get an opportunity to witness something like this with our own eyes, which is definitely contributing to the buzz. Well, we can only hope. Let's see. Located 3,000 light years from Earth, T Coronae Borealis, TCRB, nicknamed Blaze Star, is in a binary system in the Coronae Borealis or Northern Crown constellation. It is a binary system, a white dwarf, a dead star, and an ancient red giant, a slowly dying star, are gravitationally bound to each other. Every 80 years or so, the hydrogen from the red giant fuses with the surface of the white dwarf, causing a buildup of pressure and heat, resulting in a thermonuclear explosion, causing the system to go nova. The last time a TCRB nova was seen on Earth was 1946. Uh, what is the difference between a nova and a supernova? A nova is an astronomical event in which a star experiences a sudden dramatic increase in brightness, sometimes as much as 100,000 times its normal level. This results in a quote unquote new star appearing in the night sky. Nova is the Latin word for new that slowly fades over weeks or months. A nova differs from a supernova in that during a nova, the star flares up, then returns to dormancy. In a supernova, the star is completely destroyed. TCRB is a once in a lifetime event. Dr. Rebecca Hounsell, astrophysicist at NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center, told the Yahoo News desk. This event will inspire a new generation of astronomers until they realize that freaking it's all math. Because I wanted to be astronomer. I was gonna look at all the planets, I was gonna go into space. What do you know they don't tell you? Yeah, it's a bunch of freaking physics and math. It's not going to see Pluto or nothing. You don't get to see where Alf lives. Oh, hell no. No, you get to do a bunch of freaking math. And then you go to chemistry because you think, well, at least I'll get to explorate things. But no, still math. Still math. When the star goes nova, it will be visible with the naked eyes for about a week. To see it, first locate the Hercules constellation, then look to the west for the Northern Crown, a horse-shaped curve of stars or horseshoe, sorry. The Northern Crown can be identified by locating the two brightest star in the northern hemisphere, Arcturus and Vega, and tracking a straight line from one to the other, which will lead skywalkers to Hercules and the Corona Borealis, NASA said on its website. This will be a fleeting event and may be difficult to spot. Androli told Yahoo News, "We're really trying to manage expectations to provide people with as much, like, hey, it's not so here's Hercules, here's this guy, and then this is what we're looking for. We're really trying to manage expectations and provide people with as much information as possible so they're hopefully ready to witness this once in a lifetime cosmic spectacle." How you can best view the nova. Get away from light pollution. Light pollution is stray light from parking lots, sports complexes, street lights, and other human activity, which manifests as a glow in the night sky. For darker skies, head at least 20 to 30 minutes away from city limits, advised NASA. Check the weather forecast. Make sure it's a clear, cloudless night. Wow, wow. Thank you, NASA, for explaining that clouds can't be between us and the sky in order to see stars. Given the state of the federal education system, I'm not shocked that you have to tell people that. Use a constellation or planisphere, apps like Sky Guide or AR technology to turn your phone into a map to the stars. For those who prefer a more hands on guide, a planisphere can help locate the Hercules constellation. Hello, Aaron Olivia. Uh, Jedi Jess, yes, but we are in the end times. I'm joking, I don't know that for sure, but holy heck, we started off the year with Hasidic gentlemen rising from the sewers of New York. And no, I will never stop talking about that because what in the actual heck? We started off 2024 with Teenage Mutant Ninja Hasidic teens. It was just ridiculous. Um, in a sad story, a U.S. couple walked around for hours before dying in Hajj heat. A U.S. couple who died during the Hajj pilgrimage in Saudi Arabia were walking for over 2 hours in scorching temperatures before they succumbed to heat stroke, their daughter has told the BBC. Elijah Aleu Dazi Wuri, 71, and Haja Istu Wuri, 65, of Bowie, Maryland, were among the estimated 1,300 people who died during the annual pilgrimage to Saudi Arabia. Temperatures during this year's gathering exceeded 122 degrees Fahrenheit or 50 degrees Celsius at all time. Sadia Wuri told the BBC her parents' tour group had failed to provide many of the items promised, including food and adequate water. The Sierra Leone couple went missing on Sunday, 16th of June, 2 weeks after arriving in Saudi Arabia. Days later, the younger Miss Wuri was informed that they had passed away. The grieving daughter told the BBC that the Hajj pilgrimage was very important to her parents, and they had paid 11,500 or 9,000 pounds each to go. It's something they had wanted to do their entire lives, she added. They were beyond excited. The couple traveled to the Middle East with a group of nearly 100 other pilgrims through an American touring company operated through Maryland. According to Miss Worry, a lot of things were promised to them and weren't provided. They went a few days without or having to find food themselves, even though the package was supposed to come with meals every day. With minimal supplies in the smoldering heat, the couple were told Miss Worry that they were, quote, taking it a day at a time, making sure they stayed hydrated. The BBC has contacted the company for comment. Uh, In their last text exchange, after several missed calls, Miss Worry said that her parents told them that they had been walking for over 2 hours. Soon after, consular officials and a member of the same tour group confirmed that the couple had passed away. With the help of consular officials, Miss Worry was able to determine which cemetery her parents had been buried in, although they have not yet pinpointed the location within the burial ground. They don't have their personal effects, she said. It's a lot of questions. We need some answers. Miss Worry said she planned to travel to Saudi Arabia to find out where her parents were interred. She also told BBC that the tour company said it would provide proper visas and registrations for the trip, but failed to do so. According to official with the Saudi news agency SPA, most Mecca pilgrims did not have official permits. The process of obtaining official Hajj permits can be costly or complicated, however. So, the Hajj is an annual pilgrimage by Muslim people to the holy city of Mecca. Those who are financially and physically able to complete the journey are expected to do so at least once in their lifetime. Yeah, you would think that, I mean, honest to goodness, because Saudi Arabia, if I'm not mistaken, and take this with a noodle packet of salt, but I believe they have just fields of tents set up with air conditioners and supplies for for the pilgrims that are coming through. It's it's a fact that's been, touted many times when, Saudi Arabia and Egypt are right, next to places where people might want to flee, and they refuse to use these supplies to help, their fellow uh, general geographically closely located allies, you would think. Saudi Arabia said about 1.8 million people took part in this year's pilgrimage. The country's health minister, Fahid Al Jakil, said officials recently began making efforts to raise awareness of heat stress. Saudi Arabia has recently come under criticism for not making the Hajj safer, particularly for unregistered pilgrims. Those without proper permits struggle to access places that provide air conditioning and other sources for official travelers. So, yeah, looks like maybe we can. Well, yeah, but I think it definitely brings to light the fact that if this is an annual pilgrimage, it should be better run. Oh, I did not know that. Like I said, I had comparative religiosity in fourth grade, and I have gone on to do a lot of stuff. Uh, well, I mean, yeah, but you should be at least able to buy like a bottle of water. Although, don't you will not catch me going to a pilgrimage where there is no air conditioning. I'm sorry, I'm just not that devout. Um, in more Texas news, the Texas Parole Board denies clemency to Ramiro Gonzalez to be executed Wednesday despite expert witness walking back testimony. I haven't heard a lot about this story, so I don't know how I fall on this one. We will find out. Texas Parole Board on Monday denied clemency for a death row inmate, Ramiro Gonzalez, who is scheduled to be executed Wednesday for the 2001 unaliving, despite the fact that a key expert witness no longer stands by his testimony at trial. Gonzalez, 41, had asked the Board of Pardons and Paroles to recommend clemency, which would allow GOP Governor Greg Abbott to commute the inmate's sentence to a lesser punishment like life without parole. For the 2001 SA and unaliving of Bridget Townsend, Gonzalez and his attorneys pointed to his traumatic upbringing and his rehabilitation, illustrated by his Christian faith, as reasons to save his life, the petition shows. The board voted against 7-0, uh, recommending a commutation of sentence or a 180-day reprieve. His attorneys were deeply saddened and disappointed by the decision, they said in a statement. If Romero is executed on Wednesday, the world will be a darker place without him. Uh-huh. Yeah, and I try to hide those because those are really good, but I also can't have them in the house because I love them. It is. That's why the Civil War happened in my headcanon, because no one wants to say in Georgia in the middle of August without some air conditioning. That is the end of Moe's fractured history. Otherwise, Gonzalez's hopes rest with the courts. On Monday, he asked the U.S. Supreme Court for a stay of execution soon after Texas Court of Criminal Appeals rejected the appeal in which the inmate argued his trial jury's determination that he would remain a dangerous threat, a requirement for capital sentence in Texas, was based on the testimony of an expert witness who relied on data he later found to be false. And it was ultimately wrong, his attorneys argued, as shown by Gonzalez's reputation behind bars and his earlier attempt to donate a kidney. Thus, Gonzalez should be ineligible for execution, his attorneys contend, and executing him would violate his constitutional rights. You know what's amazing is that he gave not one good gosh darn whether, he violated the woman who he, was convicted of unaliving and assaulting. He gave no good, rat's patoot about what this woman's, rights were, but holy fazoli's, he had a bad childhood and he has constitutional rights. You want to make vigilantism a thing again? Y'all keep y'all in the prison reform and crazy people, contingent, y'all keep pushing that the criminals are the victims and the victims should just, well, have mercy. You're gonna get a heck of a lot of people really ticked off because, it's not gonna be just some random person that is a face on the news. It's gonna be everyone's family if they keep going about it this way and not keeping dangerous people away. Yeah, I'm sorry, but everyone finds Jesus in jail. It is like, "Where's Waldo?" for kindergartners. So, you know what? If you're really a changed man, you should apologize and do redemption, for doggone sakes. Additionally, they argued that Texas had violated his constitutional right by requiring a finding of future dangerousness for a capital sentence without providing an opportunity for it to be reviewed in post conviction proceedings. Gonzalez and his attorneys advanced similar arguments in their appeals before the U.S. Supreme Court, which they asked to review the Texas Appeal Court's decision and intervene. The planned execution of Gonzalez, who was previously slated to be, well, given the old shuffle off this mortal coil, uh, who's, sorry, in July 2022, before the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals granted a stay, is one of two scheduled in this week in the United States. On Thursday, Oklahoma intends to unalive Richard Rojum, who was convicted in the 1984 kidnapping, grape, and unaliving of his 7-year-old stepdaughter, Layla Cummins. You know what? Yes, we can go ahead and celebrate these two just, becoming better sources of nitrogen in the soil. I am about done with pity. Last week, the Oklahoma Pardon and Parole Board voted against recommending clemency for Rojam, who claims he is innocent, CNN affiliate KOCO reported. If both Gonzalez and Rojam are put to the, you know, Sparky, theirs would be the eighth and ninth to take place in the nation this year, according to the Death Penalty Information Center, a nonprofit that monitors and analyzes information about capital punishment and has been critical of its administration. Both would be the second person, sparkied in their respective states in 2024. By this time last year, 13 inmates had shuffled off this mortal coil in the U.S., the data center shows. In the Texas case, the Medina County Criminal District Attorney's Office did not immediately respond for comment. CNN has tried to reach out to members of Townsend's family for comment. The unaliving of Bridget Townsend. One day in January 2001, Gonzalez called the home of his street pharmaceuticals supplier, who was Townsend's boyfriend, according to the Court of Appeals opinion from 2009, affirming the inmate's conviction and death sentence. Townsend answered the opinion states, and told Gonzalez her boyfriend was at work. Gonzalez went to the home in search of drugs and he stole money and tied Townsend's hands before kidnapping her. He drove her to a spot near his family's ranch where he assaulted and unalived her, the court opinion says. In October 2002, while sitting in jail in conjunction with another grape, Gonzalez confessed to Townsend's killing and led authorities to her body, court records show. Gonzalez was 18 when he unalived Townsend, his clemency petition said, contending that he was in the throes of an addiction that was, quote, compounded by the trauma and neglect that marked his childhood. His clemency petition states, you know, here's what I don't get. Here's what I don't get. And call me a heartless, heifer, if you will. But how many of us had roses and the June, and June Cleaver like life when we were a kid? Look, everyone has struggles. And it's whether those struggles turn you into a, sword or a shield. That is what you need to understand, is everyone has that choice. Everyone has things in their life, no matter how trivial it might be to an outsider, that rock their world. But I am so done. The things you go in through life can either turn you real spiky, turn you real sharp, turn you real hateful, or they can imbue you with an empathy to understand that everyone is going through something, to stand up when other folks aren't feeling strong, and to protect as many people as you can with what you have. you know and I don't mean like going all vigilante Batman, but you see a person being mean to someone, you say something. You see someone upset, you give them a compliment. When someone's having a really bad day and you can tell the retail clerk is just frazzled all to heck, you don't jump down their throat. You just say, "You take your time. I'm on the lam for my children. Don't worry, you know, it'll all be okay." Why is that such a daggone difficult freaking concept? Gonzalez's mother drank and used drugs during her pregnancy and gave her son to her parents when he was born, the petition claims. She had another two children whom she raised, it said, but didn't acknowledge Gonzalez as her son. The petition also says that Gonzalez was SA'd through his childhood, beginning at the age of 6. He began using street pharmaceuticals in his teen after his aunt, with whom he was close, was killed by a drunken driver, causing him inconsolable grief, the petition says. In the year that followed, Romero's life spiraled out of control. Huh, you know that unimaginable grief thing you felt? You know that tearing, empty, gaping hole in your soul and, the days you woke up just pissed off it was sunny because, why doesn't the entire world stop when I've lost someone so special? Yeah, that's what your victim's family felt, you turd. During his years on death row, Gonzalez has become a quote, living testament to the power of rehabilitation and the human capacity for growth and change. His attorneys argued this month in his appeal before the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals. He has become deeply religious and has committed no criminal acts of violence. Huh. And if you had just achieved that life goal before you got caught, unaliving and raping people, you'd be a real good, serious religious story. Absolute turdlet. Ahead of his last execution date, Gonzalez sought a 30-day reprieve so he could participate in an altruistic kidney donation, but the Texas Department of Criminal Justice deemed him ineligible under its health care policy. A spokesperson told CNN at the time because an organ transplant would introduce an uncertain timetable that might interfere with the unaliving date. Gonzalez's attorneys said that it was just one example of Gonzalez's growth and rehabilitation, also citing his commitment to his faith, ministry to others on death row, according to a recent appeal. Has he ever said sorry to the doggone victim's family? Has he ever explained that? Has he ever sat down and taken ownership besides the whole, patented, I found the Lord, he was hiding behind, the couch in the break room? Defense that everyone has. And I say this as the world's worst Christian. Look, everyone's religious journey is their own, but I'm a little over it. Uh, Additionally, Gonzalez's lawyers argued that the evidence jurors relied upon to make their determination of future dangerousness was wrong. An expert witness for the state testified that during the penalty phase of the inmate's trial that he had diagnosed Gonzalez with antisocial personality disorder and that lots of data showed that offenders of, grossness were likely to continue to commit crimes. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That in fact is the truth. I can't imagine. Citing in part recidivism data. That data has since found to have been inaccurate. The expert in 2021 evaluated Gonzalez and has recanted his testimony, including the diagnosis. Gonzalez appeals stated the expert told Marshall Project he had never changed his opinion in a capital case prior to this one, calling it the exception, not the rule. When the Court of Criminal Appeals halted Gonzalez's last execution, it sent the case back to his trial court to review the expert's testimony and whether it impacted the jury's decision. Gonzalez's appeal said the state recommended relief be denied and that the lower court agreed without holding a hearing. The appeals court ultimately denied relief in June 2023. So, you know what? I'm glad you found Jesus because I'm a little pissed at you. So I'm glad somebody likes you because it's not me right now. In shocking news, Snoop Dogg delivers mic drop moments at the U.S. trials as the 52-year-old runs the 200-meter dash in 34.44 seconds. Snoop Dogg is used to recording tracks, not racing on them, but that didn't stop the legendary rapper from putting on quite a show at the U.S. Olympic athletics trial in Eugene, Oregon on Monday. Donning a tracksuit in the colors of the American flag and a Team USA shirt that paid respect to late NBA Hall of Famer Kobe Bryant, Snoop Dogg laced up for the 200-meter exhibition race against Trinidadian former Olympic medalist Alto Bolden and two-time NCAA outdoor 200-meter champion Wallace Spearman. Snoop was unsurprisingly smoked by his third competition at the exhibit race in Hayward Field, finishing a distant third, but he still posted a very respectable time of 34.44 seconds. 34.44 ain't for a 52-year-old ain't bad, he said after the race before posing with his time. Snoop is heading to Paris as a special correspondent for NBC's primetime games coverage alongside Olympics host Michael Tricono. And the rapper, who is also an actor and entrepreneur, then gave TV viewers his unique take on the trials. Snoop was trackside for the NBC coverage of the men's 3,000-meter steeplechase and told the broadcast, "We're about to see right now is there going to be dipping, grinding, riding, slipping, and hopefully not sliding." Oh my God. What the You guys, we have officially become we have officially devolved to, ESPN, the Ocho with, oh gosh, what is his name? From Stand By Me. He used to be chunky, but now he's not. Anywho, if we don't get a line from Snoop Dogg that it's a bold strategy, Cotton, let's see how it works out for him. I give up on 2024. I totally want that for my life. I need Snoop Dogg to bring all the ESPN the Ocho flavor for this. Dodgeball, one of my favorite movies. I'm not gonna lie, I may have seen it more than is humanly safe to admit out loud in public. The steeplechase is an event where runners are able to leap off the top of hurdles, which initially seemed to catch Snoop off guard. "Oh, he's jumping off the top of the hurdle," Snoop said in belief. "You can do that? That's a cool trick right there. I like that one. Went off the tippy top." On its X account, NBC describes Snoop's commentary as electric and the content we never knew we needed. The U.S. trials are underway with big names such as Sha'Carri Richardson and Noah Lyles already punching their ticket to this summer's games. This weekend was fun. Much respect to the world class athletes. See y'all in Paris, posted Snoop from his X account. So there you go. I might actually watch the Paris Olympics if we get to hear Snoop Dogg the commentary. It would be like it's like Aussie Man narrates. I just can't with this. In a terribly sad story, and why do we keep having to have these daggone stories? Can anyone not figure out how to leave the alcohol off, your out of your hand before you go driving? I can't. I know this husband's probably just torn up and heartbroken, but he still decided to drive drunk. And doggone it, it's never the guy driving drunk. It is always everyone around him, plus the van full of nuns and puppies. Sorry, I don't know why I'm in an irritated mood tonight, other than I was exposed to Lolly twice because Baker wanted us to watch his opening again. Oh, thank you so much, Tina Cook. Jerry O'Connell. He de-Stamos Rebecca Romaine. I don't know how he did that because John Stamos. I mean, he's no Dr. Cook or Dr. Wolf, but Intoxicated husband unalives 8-month pregnant wife and another woman in a head-on crash. Just absolutely what a waste. An intoxicated Tennessee driver veered out of his lane and smashed into another car head-on, killing his 8 months pregnant wife, the baby, and another woman, authorities said. Jonathan Jones, 20, was driving east when his Nissan Sentra crossed onto the westbound lane and struck a Ford Expedition in Knox County around 6 p.m. Friday, according to court records. Jones' wife, Cassandra, 28, and their unborn son, who they had already named Jonathan Chad, were pronounced dead at 7:24. And Cynthia, retired firefighter, and all the first, whether they be firefighters or EMTs or cops, I know they haven't had the best thing, but I can only imagine how soul crushing and just absolutely soul draining it must be to come along these crashes, and the fact that you guys do that and you still get out and you still help even though it looks hopeless and save lives that probably wouldn't have made it if you hadn't been there, it's something I don't know that I would have the strength to do, so I deeply appreciate the first responders. So, this is what he looks like, and I can't feel sorry for him. A passenger in a Ford, Virginia Brooks, died from her injuries Saturday morning. In the moments before the crash, the witness saw Jones driving recklessly and attempting to pass cars over the double yellow lane, the court record said. When Jones was in the hospital, a trooper expert at drug recognition noticed that his eyes were bloodshot and watery, authorities said. The young husband admitted at one point to smoking the devil's lettuce every day, officials said. Both vehicles involved in the crash were so mangled that some of the victims had to be cut from the wreckage, the Knox County Rural Metro Fire Crew wrote on Facebook. Grisly photos showed the Nissan roof and the dark red stain that appeared to be blood on the passenger seat. In his mugshot, Jones had purple bruises under both eyes that were apparently from the accident. Jones was charged with 3 counts of vehicular homicide and driver intoxication, 2 counts of reckless aggravated assault, 1 count of improper passing, according to court documents viewed by the Post. He is due for a court bond hearing Wednesday. I mean, I don't get it. All you had to do was simply not drive impaired. Jonathan and Cassandra Jones were married on October 7th, 2023, according to Facebook. The young couple shared several celebratory pregnancy moments in the months before the horrid crash, including one photograph of Jones grinning with his hand on Cassandra's stomach. The Tennessee Highway Patrol, which is investigating the crash, declined to comment on the incident, citing concerns about ongoing prosecution. Well, is this Florida man or what? I mean, y'all, I have a gun too. New neighbor crashes U-Haul into balcony, fatally shooting a complaining resident in the eye, neck, and chest. What in the Florida man unleashed, uncut, and what is that haircut? Again, we've already had enough American History X, uh, adding a historical quote at the end of freaking closing statements. I can't deal with another Edward Norton moment. Christian Freeborn of Florida is charged with second-degree murder after cops said that he shot his 57-year-old, oh, for the love of English, 57-year-old would-be neighbor 5 times after the neighbor emerged from his home to find Freeborn's U-Haul truck smashed into his driveway. Now, if there is not Pabst Blue Ribbon involved in this, I call shenanigans. Freeborn has pled not guilty. It's a bold move, Cotton. Let's see how it works out for him. The shooting occurred in May in Lilitha, Florida, and Hillsborough County Sheriff's arrest records show that Freeborn, 28, was arrested on June 21st. No bond was sent, and he remains booked in the Falkenberg Road Jail. I kid you not, guys. It is Falkenberg. And I'm just saying, if I have to live in Florida, that might be the burg I choose. Arrest records indicate Freeborn is a supervisor for a national home construction and real estate company. I don't know that I would trust him with a nail gun. That is a Stanley Kubrick stare if I ever saw one. People that haven't even committed the felonies yet are going to get trials before Sarah does. No bond was set and he remains booked at oh, sorry. State prosecutors said Freeburn shot Hubert Harris outside of his home, once in his eyes and twice in his neck. Harris was shot in his leg and upper chest as well. Police said that Freeborn told him it was self defense, prompted by Harris coming out of his home, surveying the damage, and telling Freeborn he would have to pay for it. Yeah. Um, it doesn't seem like them are fighting words to me, but okay. According to a motion from the prosecutors seeking his detention, the defendant advised he would, however, the victim continued to be upset and argue with him, so he sternly told the victim to go back inside. The victim responded by saying, "Make me," squared up, and took a step toward him. The defendant advised he took a step back and told the victim, "Please don't do this. I have a firearm. I have a concealed weapon permit. I don't want to do this." The defendant advised the victim responded by saying, "I have a force multiplier too," and took a step toward him. The defendant advised he did not see a firearm on the victim's person and did not know if the victim meant he had a force multiplier on him or inside his home. The defendant advised he backed up a second time and told the victim, "Please don't do this." The victim stepped toward him again and they stood face to face for several seconds before the defendant advised the victim came forward. Uh, I'll take things for never that never happened for 700, Alex. I somehow doubt that there were not F words and all the words flying, so Freeburn claims that Harris next came at him with his arms raised in a bear hug like motion, and that's when Freeburn said he had to open fire. Harris died at the scene. Court records show that Harris was at home with his girlfriend when Freeburn is accused of hitting the house with his moving truck. The girlfriend told the police that she heard a loud crash, peered outside the window, and saw a moving truck that had collided with their balcony as the truck was now in the neighbor's parking spot. Harris's girlfriend said the couple went outside to inspect the crash and saw Freeburn with his juvenile brother. The fatal argument ensued. She also told the police after the shooting at one point Freeburn flashed his gun in a waistband at them. Freeburn claims the whole episode with the U-Haul was an accident and Harris wouldn't calm down after the initial jarring interaction. Although the 28-year-old told police he was acting in self-defense, sheriffs reported after the shooting Freeburn said he did not see a force multiplier on Harris but told him he had one. Whether Harris's gun was inside his home or concealed somewhere on his person, it was unclear, and Freeborn didn't elaborate. He also told police he was concerned a previous wrist injury and rotator cuff injury from jiu-jitsu training, as well as the size disparity between himself and the larger Harris, could lead to the victim taking his firearm. However, he never advised that he was in fear for his life due to the victim's actions. Freeborn's teenage brother, who rode in the moving truck with him, told police he did not see what happened during the shooting, but only heard his elder brother tell Harris to go back inside. Then the 13-year-old boy allegedly got back into the truck at his brother's command and waited for several seconds before he heard four, shots ring out. A neighbor told the police he heard loud talking outside before 4 to 5 gunshots. The witness told the police they looked outside and saw the defendant standing in the center of the roadway with his arms outstretched, pointing toward driveways. Witnesses could not see a firearm, however, told police they believe he had one based on how he was standing. A public motion to set bond filed by his attorneys notes that Freeborn has no prior criminal record, has worked as a construction manager for 3 years, and that he is a father with a 1-year-old child and his wife is now 7 months pregnant. You did a dumb, sir. You did an absolute dumb. You know what you should have done? You should have said, "Sir, you know what? Go ahead and start taking pictures for insurance if we have to call the cops and get evidence. I have a pregnant wife. I have a child at home. I would just like us to, I'm real sorry. I know this is a terrible impression." But no, no, according to him, they both just couldn't let it go because he had every ability to walk the heck away. Now you've probably given up your life and taken the life of someone who was a father, a brother, maybe, a grandpa, a papaw. You know, just absolutely take some time to think about things before you do them. In our final story, you know, if you're single, I'm just saying don't feel bad. Don't feel bad, because at least, well, hopefully my reader or my viewers aren't this person, but a woman was arrested for calling 911 to avoid meeting up with a man she met on a dating app. I mean, you can have emergency, get out of jail free, you know, text setups with your girlfriends, but I think calling the actual, 50 is a little bit hysterical. A woman in Iowa has been arrested for calling 911 to avoid going on a date with a man she met on a dating app, police said. Interesting. Uh, Sumaya Thomas, 18, was arrested after police said she told a dispatcher that okay, if this is true, her abusive ex-boyfriend of 2 years was outside her home sending her threatening text messages on June 16th. According to a criminal complaint seen in The Independent, Thomas said the man told her he wanted to, really hurt her, lay his hands on her. She also said she was pregnant with that man's baby. A majority of their conversations took place over Snapchat, the woman said. Upon arriving at the scene, an officer with North Liberty Police Department spotted a man leaving the residence. The man told the officer he started speaking to a woman a week ago on a dating app. The two of them moved their conversations off platforms and started to text. The man showed the police the text and dating app conversations. The police confirmed that the messages were sent from the woman's phone number. The man was detained for over an hour due to the false accusations, police said. During a third interview, Thomas admitted to making a false report because she got cold feet on meeting him and no longer wanted to. Um, the complaint says she advised she didn't think officers would help, so she made up this call and the events that she described. The woman was arrested on June 16th on two false reporting charges. Do not let this woman skip out. Do not let her get away without having to do some sort of restitution, make some sort of amends, and get some punishment, because I have had it with people making false reports. I'm just tired. This storm moving through is making my leg just not happy. And I'm like, people, if y'all would just stop doing dumbs, I would not have to yell so much. Anywho, I'm not sending you to anyone. I know Shizzy has a stream next. I am going to get off of here and probably go lay down, but I hope you guys have a safe and wonderful evening. There are storms moving through my neck of the woods, which is, central southern Indiana. So, uh, stay safe. Make sure you guys pay attention if you've got storms moving through. And I will see you guys in the morning. And then we will be on verdict watch, I think. So I will try to persuade Baker to not post any more lolly if I can get away with it. Because, yeah, that about took me out today. I thought I was having an out of body time dilation experience. Anywho, bye, you guys. I will see you in the morning.